guys? I'm here today with a review to The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, episode 2, yo. And you know, just starting off this episode, it reminds me why I'm so interested in this series. Just seeing how the series handled this episode. And you know, we finally leave the cave. The MC leaves the cave. We're no longer in the cave and we're in the outside world. And you just see the different races. Like this episode, we meet the goblins and we see humans, there's no longer dragons. We see humans, we see goblins, we're seeing these different races, and we're seeing this conflict of the world revolving against Veldora. It was incredible. This was a very enjoyable episode. Not only did it have the humor, like the funny moments had me laughing like crazy. It had, you know, of course, important information given to us, the viewer. So let me just dwell down into this episode real fast. Alright, so now we know basically Veldora, the dragon, and our main character were, you know, stuck in a predicament. Because Veldora, he's imprisoned. He's been in prison for like 300 years and he cannot leave. That's what we know. He's in prison and he cannot leave. And what happens this episode is the MC says, hey, why don't we try to break you out? So let's think of a plan to break you out. Eventually, we come to the decision that the best way to break Veldora out is if the MC basically eats Veldora. So he consumes him, uses his predator, you know, ability where he can consume you and basically steal your moves, right? And how this would work is he would consume Veldora, and while he's consuming him, he would be trying to analyze the imprisonment while, you know, Veldora in the inside of his body is attacking. So that's how they would kind of like break this curse on Veldora, which is pretty interesting. And you know, I was thinking that like before the episode even began, and like when we saw the first episode and we knew that, you know, Rimuru, which is basically the name given to the MC, and we have this new, like the Tempest crew is formed, guys. Veldora Tempest and Rimuru Tempest, yo. The Tempest crew is formed and I love it. You know, like I was saying though, in the first episode, I always had this thought like, wait, couldn't he just consume him or something like that and just like do something like that? Because we know the main character, Rimuru, like he can consume things. That's his power. And once he consumes things, he gets abilities. Just like you see in this episode where he's learning all these skill attributes. He's fighting these foes. Like he's in the water and he unlocks water blades. So now he can shoot this blade of water, which is very deadly. He consumes this viper like a snake. And by consuming the snake, he can transform to the snake and use poisonous breath. He's fighting all these monsters and gaining all their attributes to a point where he can even speak now. Because before, he couldn't even see. Then he learned how to see. And now, he can speak. Like, he can talk and communicate with people. It's not like before how he was talking through the head. Like, you know, communicating through the mind. He can literally speak. He has a mouth now, which I thought was very interesting. Just seeing him develop in this cave. Going through his little journey, getting his attributes and skills. Like I said, we basically leave the cave and we meet these goblins. And you know, just like the thing that I thought was so funny, I almost went past this moment. When we're coming up with the names for ourselves, right? Like the nicknames, like Rimuru gives Veldora the nickname Tempest, and bro, his reaction to the name, oh my gosh, man. So out of nowhere, he tells Veldora Tempest, like he calls him that name, and Veldora's like silent. So I'm like, yo, does he not like it? Then out of nowhere he starts screaming, that name's amazing, yo. Oh my gosh, it was just so funny and unexpected. Because I'm thinking in my head, I was like, does he like it or not? Like, what the heck? Are you gonna give us a response? Then he just starts screaming like really, really loud, like, that name's incredible, yo. Another funny thing that I thought was going on this episode was Rimuru, like after all the stuff he's been through in this cave, he has this aura around him now, like this powerful energy around him, and he doesn't know this. So while he's walking around and whatnot, everyone's feeling this powerful energy. They're scared. They're like, who is this? They don't even think like he's a slime. They're like, bro, what badass monster is trying to kill us? Like, what is this? You know what I mean? And we learned this when he's confronted by these goblins because they're scared. They're shaking. They like these kid goblins. They're so scared. They're shaking with their swords and stuff. They don't know what's hitting them. You know what I mean? They don't know what this is. But it's Rimuru, and you know, he's just a slime. You know what I mean? That's what we think. But around him, there's actually all this masma, all this aura, all this power around him. Like, he's really actually powerful. He's not just this regular slime. And we also learn a big important thing. Veldora, like, with him being imprisoned, it kind of, like, I want you to think about it like this, right? think about Kingpin from Spider-Man, right? Like, when Kingpin was taken out, what happened? Villains started, rising up, trying to get his spotlight or whatnot, right? And with Verudora, when he was imprisoned, it kind of did something like, it kept all these monsters and whatnot in line. And now that he's no longer in prison and he's out of their, the system, these monsters are starting to get aggravated. They're starting to, aggro and whatnot. They're attacking people, just like with the goblins, their predicament with the wolves. These wolves are straight up going to them, killing them, fighting them, destroying their village and whatnot. And now it's, Rimuru's chance to basically take care of these goblins, and now he's their leader, to protect them from these wolves. So I really, really enjoyed this episode, just from the humor, like I mentioned, and just the scenes, just even seeing the new characters. I love the design here, and it's not like no crazy design, but I just love it, man. I love the line art and everything about it. I love Rimuru as a character. I love Verudora, like just the whole tsundere vibe he has. You know what I mean? I love everything about this show, and I can't wait to see it progress more. And we get the opening here. I mean, I wasn't really a big fan of the opening, but it was very, interesting. We did see a few characters. Like, I stopped looking at the opening because I don't look at openings because I want to be surprised. But we see a few characters in the opening, and they look pretty badass. Like, there's this one girl with blue hair. I can't wait to meet her. Like, she looks really interesting. Like, we meet this crew of characters. They all look interesting. I didn't get to look at them all properly. But, depending on if the opening has spoilers or not, I'll look at it. I don't know. Because, like I said, I have this whole stigma with openings. Like, I don't want to get spoiled or anything. Like, you look at the opening and you see a crazy fight scene that happens in the final episode and you're like, what the heck? But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Very enjoyable episode of The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. If you made it to the end, you're amazing, yo. Peace out.